What's up, Schmoedown fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. I am Star Wars competitor Andrew Dimalanta.
And I am Nicki Dimalanta.
We're really trying to drag out your intro. we need to get you a nickname or something.
You know.
A Schmoedown nickname.
You know.
The Huntress.
That's cute.
Comment below. Tell me what you think. So, we got a ton of stuff. We're actually in a situation where we have too much stuff to talk about this week.
A lot of stuff has happened
There's
this last
a
week.
lot of stuff happening in a span of like 2 days.
Yeah,
it's
just like a little just a flurry of things started happening over the past couple of days.
One thing happened on backstage, and then it just snowballs from there. It's like, oh, Jesus. And the rest of the week was...
became like, hey, this person's getting dropped. Hey, this person's getting traded. It was just left and right.
Yeah, I was like, God, man, slow down. We only try to keep this to an hour. So now we're going to have to like...
Well, we'll do our best.
So this episode, we're going to usually start off with talking points and then we go into the match, but we're going to have to talk about the match first and then talk about what everybody's going to want to hear us talk about is everything else that's going on. So full transparency. Oh, I didn't put my thing.
Oh, God, how embarrassing.
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh, man. Alex Damon just messaged me. Jesus.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. But I'll get to that.
That
in the middle of recording. Alex, get back to
you. Name dropping. Must be nice.
But, yeah. Hey, we're friends.
So full transparency. What I think Andrew was getting to say was this week, I think there was a Patreon match for the Jurassic Park match. Full transparency.
We didn't watch it.
We haven't watched it yet.
We've been busy with other things, obviously.
We've been busy, with some other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a great match, and we are definitely going to watch it. But
we definitely watch it because Barbarian is in that match, and like.
Oh no, we are 100% going to watch it. We just didn't get to it before tonight.
Yeah, we haven't caught up with anything. God, I'm trying not to mess with my hat as much as I can. My hair is ridiculous, and if you haven't noticed, I got tired of the goat and
the
goat
shaved it all off.
I shaved it off. I couldn't stand it, and plus I don't want to have it on while we're going into the tournament. So we wanted to. And the second, again, sorry tangent. The second I shaved it off, I'm like, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot like myself now.
For a minute, it was like, oh, what?
Yeah, because
but then I was like,
okay,
month. Yeah.
I had it for a month. I was like, okay, now I'm back to myself.
But yeah, we didn't watch the Jurassic Park match.
We're gonna watch it.
We're 100% gonna watch it. We just haven't watched it as of tonight.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just move right into the main singles match that happened this week. So, let me grab my handy dandy notebook.
Still, Stacy Howard versus Eric Zipper, the Z-Man.
Yeah, Sassy Stacy Howard.
For some reason, I thought that she had a different nickname.
I know she's always been sassy. I'm pretty. No,
they introduced her in a different way. I thought. They give her a new nickname or something.
I don't know about that.
I could be wrong.
I think you're imagining things.
I don't know. Somebody
Sassy Stacy Howard.
Comment in the chat there or in the comments below. Let me know if
I think he's making it up.
But before we get into the match, last week I went with Zipper. You went with Howard.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. Mm-hmm. So we got Sassy Stacy Howard, and she is representing the Rock Stars. Mm-hmm. And then we got Eric Z-Man Zipper. Sick name. He's representing
no shade, Zip.
He's representing the dungeon. Isn't Z-Man what they called the Ultimate X in Scott Pilgrim? What was his name? No, G-Man. He was G-Man for Gideon.
Yeah.
My bad, I'm the idiot. So Eric Z-Man Zipper, Rockstar's first dungeon. Mm-hmm. So Zipper walked out with Kaiser, Smets, Wit, and Mancuso. So they had a bit of a posse going.
Yeah. Trying to compete with the exchange. I see what you're doing.
And also, I feel like Swag does it a lot too. Like they always have a couple people.
Swag keeps it to a minimum. I think that's one.
It's usually like Chandru just flossing his way out there.
It's at most 3. At Dagnino, I talked to Dagnino recently, and like he does it on purpose to bring as many people as possible. He's like, I don't care if we have no camera room. He said if.
What are we doing here? Are we giving? Are we?
No. No, it's just Dagnino being Dagnino. He said if he could, if I lived there, if we lived in LA, and
we'd kidding me? They'd have to kick us out.
He said if every member of the exchange was there during a match today, he'd bring all of us out.
Oh my god!
Just because
if we lived in LA, anywhere close to the studio,
no, we'd be there every weekend.
Yeah. everyone would
100%.
have to kick us out and be really sick of us. So Stacy walks out with Roxy and Draco, a modest showing for the rock stars, which is fine. Nothing wrong with a humble walkout. I mean, a lot of people walk out with just their manager. It's whatever.
That's fine.
So round 1. The most notable thing that I think happened in this round was that there was a question. Yes. I did not write down what the question was. What a dummy. Anyway, so we got Mark on the desk. We got Mark Ellis. We got Mark Ellis on the desk, and we got Brienne with him. Mark asks a question. He and Brienne, they're just, they're spitballing. They're going back and forth. They're doing their little bantery thing while everyone's answering. And Mark Ellis, who usually has a booming voice. Yeah. And we've all heard Christian's impersonation of Mark Ellis.
I'm sorry. I was about to do it, but no, the baby's sleeping.
Yeah, the baby's in the next room sleeping. We don't need to do our Mark Ellis
Don't need to do that. Maybe when Corona's all over and done with. If we ever scream on the show, it's because the baby's with grandparents.
Yeah.
So
you'll know when the baby's not here because we'll be much louder.
We'll be extra
probably.
Toasty and we'll be extra loud.
Oh yeah, we gonna be very toasty. So anyways, Mark usually has a very booming voice, and uncharacteristically at the end of this question he starts counting down and it's very quiet.
It's like 4, 3. I'm like, what? We actually had to watch it again because there's no way he was that quiet.
Yeah, so he counts down. They get to 1. I don't know if Eric was the first one to reveal his answer, but
I think it was Howard that had an answer first.
And so they were like, "Oh, Stacy," and she's like, almost like they snapped her out of like a stupor or something, and she's like, "Oh, I don't remember if she even had anything written down." But
no,
she seemed like kind of caught off guard, like, "Oh, and then Eric gave his answer. I believe he got it right. And then Roxy challenges and said I don't know if she said there was no countdown.
She said the countdown wasn't loud enough.
Or it was it wasn't loud enough. They upheld it. And at first I was like, come on. But then we went back and rewatched it and it was like, that was actually really oddly quiet for Mark Ellis.
And it
was a very good challenge.
I'm on both sides of the fence on this one because one, it's like, that was a little quiet. That was a good challenge on Roxy's part to make sure the announcers are, doing it correctly. Yeah. But on the other side, it's like that station needs to be paying attention. You 100% need to be paying attention.
I feel like I could argue both sides to this just to, play devil's advocate. Yeah. They're right. It was very quiet. Yeah. They are right. But, for fun to play devil's advocate. If I was up there, I don't know.
It's hard to say.
I'm talking like on backseat playing. I've never played on stage. I'm playing from the couch. But I feel like if I was playing,
you'd be paying.
I feel like if I knew that I was waiting for, maybe to use a JTE or whatever, I feel like I'd be checking around. Yeah. But to Stacy's credit, maybe she was really zoning out. Maybe she was really probing deep to try to find that answer.
And the announcers are at the I can't remember how far, we've only been in the studio once, and I remember the announcers being at the very least 6 feet away from the competitors.
Safe Corona distance.
Yeah. So it's like, at the very least, so it's hard if he's going 4, 3, like at a normal voice, like he's using his inside voice.
It's not like they're wearing headphones and they can hear him in the mic.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, this is one of the cases where it's like, it's kind of like a tuck rule in situation in the NFL where like you have to look at this situation like, all right, maybe we get an actual clock that after the question's done, the announcer hits the button and then the clock counts down from 15 seconds so the competitor can actually see. Interesting. I think that would be interesting to avoid something like this. So it's not all.
And then it's always very consistent.
Or because there is a clock man. Ben Goddard is actually on the sideline going 5 like this.
That was my first introduction to Ben Goddard.
Yeah,
like,
and there's a clock man, so maybe we don't leave the clock to the announcers now. So we have the clock man on the side go 5, 4, so that they can do that. So you don't you don't have to. It doesn't fall all onto the announcers because the announcers are there to 1, ask the questions, and 2, keep the match interesting.
Fill the void
times in between answers. So that's what. Therefore, I think if you add keeping track of the time on top of that, then it's like, all right, you're doing too much. I think the clock man on the side should yell 5, 4. I think that'd be better.
And it happens pretty often that the announcers are bantering back and forth, and it happens pretty often that they're bantering during the 5-second countdown. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe Mark was just like, well, I don't want to overpower whatever Brienne's saying, so let me just, pull it back a little bit. Maybe he just pulled it back too far.
Yeah, this is one of the things where I think that it's like, take that responsibility away from the announcers. So now they don't have. So now it's an official 15 because the clock man will be doing this the entire time, and he goes 5, So now, because before there was never, from my understanding, there really wasn't never a clock man.
Yeah.
Up until a certain point, and Christian would just be in his head like,
which I don't know how he could.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did
and also this eliminates the possibility of like, well, that was a quick, because we just did a play along, or we just posted a play along for our patrons. This is gonna go public to everybody else at the end of the month. But like we noticed that the 15 was quick in this match.
I mean, but also it might have been because I was nervous.
Yeah, no, but I was like, but I did agree. It's like, wow, that was a quick 15. This eliminates all of that.
It's so hard to try to, fill the silence and also keep track of, time.
Yeah. So I think that's the best way. Either
at the end of the day, I agree with the challenge. I think
it was a good challenge.
An excellent
challenge.
A good challenge. She did exactly what she was supposed to do.
But she needs to be paying attention.
But also, I do also believe that, maybe you should be paying attention a little bit more. But
it is hard to get lost in your own thoughts trying to think of these answers.
So the challenge was upheld.
We're all over the place with this.
Yeah, very much. So the challenge was upheld. Stacy got a new question. It was something about A Star Is Born. And she got it.
Yeah, and you can see Zipper's like frustration with this.
Yeah,
he
was kind of, he did one of these like,
seriously,
kind of things.
It happens.
That's the game.
Yeah, that's the game sometimes.
So at the end of round 1, it was 5-7 in favor of the Z-Man. Cool. So heading into round 2, Stacy goes first. She gets opponent's choice. Eric decides to go with Paul Thomas Anderson. An interesting pick.
It is an interesting choice.
I kind of wish I wanted to go back. I didn't. But I wanted to go back and look at the wheel and see what else was on the wheel and see, what would I have given Stacy if I were Eric? But I didn't do that.
And I don't know if he gave it to her because it's a hard category or something he was good in, or if something he believed that she was weak in.
I got the impression that he gave it to her because he thought he could get steals from it, and maybe it was something he felt comfortable with.
Yeah,
is the impression I got.
And from I think we talked about this after the match. I was like, I think he should have gone elsewhere because this is a new category from what I'm understanding. It was spun once before. I think
that I can remember.
Very recently, but it is a newer category, and a mistake of giving somebody a newer category is the questions aren't that deep because they didn't,
theoretically
we've toyed around with this theory before, and sometimes it's true, sometimes it isn't. But this seems to be a situation where the questions weren't as deep because it's.
It only makes sense,
So I think it was a mistake to give her that, obviously, because she went to multiple choice twice.
She went to multiple choice twice and got both of them. I don't think she missed a question in the second round.
Yeah, so it kind of backfired on him a little bit.
A bit.
I think he should have gone something a little bit more nerdy. I don't know how much.
Like I said, I really wish I would have gone back to see what else was on the wheel.
But either way, this didn't go the way Zipper thought it would, and it ended up.
Yeah, bit him a little bit.
It bit him a little bit.
Even
though she didn't do great, like unbelievably great in it, but
she did respectably.
She did respectably. She didn't.
What is it? 4 questions?
It's 4 questions. She went twice.
She did pretty good.
She did decent. She didn't.
She
no
got
steals.
2 right out the gate, and then she went multiple choice for the other 2 and got them both. He didn't pick up any steals. Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of did backfire a bit. Yeah. And then Zipper goes. He gets new releases.
And this is multiple choice. This is a strength of his, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it was listed as one of his strengths.
He goes to multiple choice one time, misses. It gets stolen.
Yeah.
So by the end of round 2, it's 12-13 in favor of Zipper. Yeah. He's only got it by 1 point.
Yeah, and this is a case where like sometimes you're like, oh yeah, it's my absolute strength. Let's go with it. Right. This is a case where it's like, oops. It's harder than these questions are harder than I was expecting.
He did well. He only missed one question.
Fantastic, but
he did get it stolen, and it did seem like a guess on Stacy's part.
We'll get into that. It is
what it is.
We'll get into that.
So round 3, 2 point. Stacy goes first.
Yes.
She gets a 2-pointer. Something about Brad Pitt in Fury, whatever that is. She gets
it's
it.
It's the Tank movie. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, with Shia LaBeouf and a whole bunch of other people. No?
Shia LaBeouf and Brad Pitt were in a movie together?
Yeah, they were. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. Please, somebody defend me in the chat, please.
Alexa, was Brad Pitt in a movie with Shia LaBeouf?
You know we don't have Alexa in this room.
I'm afraid if I say Google too loud, it'll hear me and start talking.
Look it up.
So, wow. Good job, Shia. Really reaching a milestone.
I'm pretty sure I might be. I don't know, but if I'm correct,
I'll Google it.
I'm pretty sure that was the movie.
So it bounces to Eric for his 2-pointer. He gets action adventure. Something about Nick Cage and Con Air. Never seen it. Oh. He gets it.
You've never seen Con Air?
Is it kind of like Top Gun?
No. You've never seen Con Air. Are you
not even close?
Oh my god.
I mean, is it about people that fly airplanes too?
No, it's about a bunch of prisoners.
Con Air?
Yes.
They don't fly in Con Air?
Yeah, they're in an airplane, but there's a bunch of prisoners being transported somewhere, and they end up taking control of the airplane. And Nicolas Cage is a guy that's on his last day, and when he lands wherever they're gonna land, he's a free man. So, and he ends up working with the police and stuff, trying to free and give information to the good guys and stuff like that. It's a classic Cage.
It's his last day on the job, and then a bunch of stuff just goes down.
He's a prisoner. His last day in prison, guy. And no, he's been in prison for long, and this is his last day of imprisonment, and it just so happens that the inmates take over the airplane, and
like Air Force One. That movie that's what happens in that movie too, right?
Terrorists take over the plane in Air Force One. Well, Russian terrorists, yeah.
Sounds pretty similar to me. Anyways, it goes back to Stacy for her 3-pointer. She gets comedies. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Who wrote Home Alone, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and Miracle on 34th Street?
And you almost got this right.
I almost got it. It was the kind of thing where it was like, the only reason that I would have gotten it was because of Home Alone. I could see his name on the screen in my brain, but I just couldn't read the letters, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying, ladies? So anyways, John Hughes, she gets it. Goes back to Zipper for his 3-pointer. He gets a crime movie. Ugh.
He gets it though, right?
Yeah. Who was the director of Widows? Who's even heard of that? He gets it. Yeah. He pulls it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Goes back to Stacy for her 5-pointer. She gets fantasy sci-fi. Okay, wait. Let's back it up here. Let's back it up to Stacy's 3-pointer.
Oh, yeah.
She guessed. Let's all keep it real.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, she definitely did not seem like she was in command of that question.
Yeah, no.
So she could just kind of pull John Hughes out of the air. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I guess she familiar with writers, and she's familiar with film.
enough to make
film, yeah.
Educated guesses, and we'll get to that too.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
So Stacy gets to her 5-pointer, fantasy sci-fi, something about Beowulf, and who's the voice of King Hrothgar.
I remember this. It was a pretty decent movie, from what I remember.
I watched it, I think, in high school, but I don't remember anything about it.
Is this the newer Beowulf with the semi-animated one?
I mean, I can only imagine by the answer.
What is it?
I mean, Anthony Hopkins was the answer.
Oh.
Not that Anthony Hopkins is any spring chicken or anything, but if I had to guess,
that's probably the older one.
I think it
then.
was the newer one. You know what I'm saying?
Or the older one or the new one? Anthony Hopkins.
Newer one?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Anyways, older one, newer one. I could have watched either one of those in high school, and I wouldn't know the difference. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. Anyways, voice of King Hrothgar. She is just kind of sitting there, and she's just really thinking, racking her brain and whatever. Mm-hmm. I think she burned a couple of JTEs, which, rightfully so, is her 5-pointer.
Yeah.
So she sits there. She's thinking for a long time. And then she just goes, she just does one of those, I don't know, Anthony Hopkins kind of things. And it's right. And the crowd goes wild. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So she gets it.
Yeah.
So it goes to Eric for his 5-pointer. He gets 1980s. He gets, oh, wow, I didn't take very good notes. It was something about a Robin Williams movie. Mm-hmm. Definitely didn't write down the name of the movie, but it was something like Moscow was involved, I think, in the title. But it was some Robin Williams movie, a lesser known, in my opinion, maybe not in, Schmoedown World's opinion. As soon as they ask the question, he kind of has this moment where he just kind of goes, oh, and just covers his face.
Yeah.
His eyes just went boom.
He knows. It's one of those things where it's on the tip of your brain.
It is rattling around.
You can't pull it in the 15 or the 30 or the extra 15 after you repeat it 3 times.
Exactly.
It's just
and he repeated it a couple times.
Yeah. And this is, I can totally attest to the situation where like 12th Mooning Out was somewhere in my head.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it, and I was like, because for some reason in my match, I was like,
Andrew's referencing a Star Wars
my
match
Star
for
Wars
anybody
match,
who's
yeah.
not following.
So like when I was trying to repeat it, I was like, I know it for some reason in my head it was like I kept coming back to gout. Like gout just kept flashing in my head. It's like it sounds like gout, and I just like that's not the answer, so I'm not even gonna try.
Right.
So, and it's just one of those things where you know the answer, you just can't.
You're right. You're right. It happens to me too, baby. Happens to me too when I'm watching from the couch. So, you know.
And it's just unbelievably frustrating, and I can totally see, like, unbelievably frustrating for Zipper in this situation because we'll get to his post game comments.
Yeah.
And it's like you know the answer, and the person you're up against just like pulls their answer out of nowhere.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, like I was frustrated for Zipper in this match.
So, you know, with that, you know, devastating miss, because his eyes definitely went like lit up, like this is somewhere in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But he missed it, so it was 18-22 in favor of Stacy. So the Rockstars took the W home.
2 points for them, and they're up to 6 points now, right? I believe so.
Maybe
sure.
something like that. I'd have to look at the website.
Yeah.
In the post-match interview, the Rockstars, Roxy says, you know, she says you can call it guessing, and she said even Stacy might call it guessing, but she's getting things. Mm-hmm. You know, she's getting the answers. She's pulling them out of somewhere. Roxy says that she couldn't guess some of these answers, so she has enough movie knowledge in her head to make an educated guess from, like, context clues.
Yeah.
Then she goes as far as to make a comment that she could take on a Dan Murrell type. Okay,
so here's the
discuss.
Here's the thing. Like I said, we discussed this like a tiny bit in the last episode. I said that Stacey Howard is probably the most inconsistent player in the entire league, and it's shown this before. She goes and she gets wins against Mark Ellis and Mark Riley. And for some reason, she does not take that momentum into the next match with her.
Right.
And she gets rocked in the next one. And usually. And this comment that Roxy makes that she can go up against like a Dan Murrell type. She went up against a Dan Murrell type with Rachel Cushing, and she got 2 points in that match.
Woof.
So, it's just
and this is coming from someone that would probably get like 1 point.
Yeah, no, like I'm not saying that I would beat Stacey Howard. I would probably get
talking about myself, not Andrew.
Well, no, me too. I would probably get rocked by Stacey Howard because my general movie knowledge is nowhere near any of these singles competitors. If it's not Star Wars or at the very least inner geekdom,
yeah,
I have really little to no chance in these matches. If I was ever to go into that kind of division, it would have to be in teams.
And for me, if it's not from Blazing Saddles or Rush Hour.
You do surprisingly well in the singles and teams question pool. I mean, our watch longs have proven.
I mean, I've done one. Let's do another one and see how it shakes out.
Like we had the discussion before where it's like she guesses a lot, and like it might be educated guesses, but that's like it really comes down to chance. It's like you're guessing and it's like I'm taking a chance on this, and she's gambling at right answers.
Yes.
And if you said, hey, you have two competitors, so these two competitors, like you can have Zipper or Howard at this point. I'm going Zipper, and based off of these past couple matches I've gotten with him with Paul last season, and this match really he was on fire. This match, he was really good in this match.
In my humble opinion, if I may say so, no disrespect, coming from a terrible movie trivia player. But in all due respect, I do believe that Eric outplayed Stacy in this match.
Yes, I do too. I absolutely do too.
I feel as though if Roxy were to hear that, she would have words for me.
And I think her argument would be like, hey, guessing is part of the game. And
she's right.
It is.
She's totally right.
But guessing can get you wins.
It's not going to get you
It's not going to get you a title. Because
No
the
way.
second you go up against somebody like, Roka.
A Dan Murrell,
Roka, Bateman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm naming all the people in my faction.
Whoops.
Paul Oyama.
Paul Oyama, hell yeah.
Tom,
Even if you
Paul
talk
Preston.
about Inner Geekdom, Kevin Smets.
Yeah, the second you go up against calibers of those people,
you're not guessing your way past them.
past them.
No way.
Guaranteed they're not going to whiff on second round questions. They're not going to the likeliness that they will get their 5-pointer is higher than Zipper's is. No offense to Zipper, because Zipper really impressed me in this match.
Yeah.
So if you said, hey, you can have Zipper or Stacey Howard right now, I would say Zipper, because I would rather. We had this conversation after the match to equate Stacey Howard to a quarterback in the NFL. She's kind of like Jameis Winston. She's
not stealing crab legs, not like
no,
that.
No, not like that. But like she's the 50-50 baller. She sees a really talented wide receiver on her team, and she throws a 50-50 ball up halftime. She's like, all right, either I'm going to throw it up, and I'm going to hope my guy comes down with it. That seems to me what she keeps doing all the time.
Hail Marys.
And that can win you games. Big risk also means like big risk gets big reward, but it also means that you might come down with an interception.
Yeah.
And Jameis Winston last season threw 30 touchdowns, but he also threw 30 interceptions.
And that's why we're living in Tampa Bay, baby. Wait, Tampa Brady.
Tampa Brady.
Brady. Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Brady.
Ew, that's so stupid.
I'm not ready to cheer for Tom Brady, even though he probably will bring us to.
Would
to
you rather cheer for Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski? I'd rather cheer for
They're
Tom
both
Brady.
on our team now. They're both on our team, and it's infuriating.
Would you rather cheer for Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
Why are you doing this to me?
Probably Tom Brady. So lemonade out of lemons.
But that's what Stacey Howard is pretty much. This is the way I kind of view her gameplay. She's the 50-50 quarterback, the one that throws it up there and hopes for the best.
Yeah, and the thing, I want to be careful with what I say.
I know, but it's like
because,
because it's frustrating sometimes to watch her gameplay. I
feel like it's kind of frustrating because she openly admits that she doesn't really study.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's
it's kind of no. I see what you're saying, but it's like I don't.
There are some people that put
a lot of effort,
so much effort into this game,
and to put her into the category of those players is kind of like.
But I don't know if anybody has done that. But to say that she can go against a Dan Murrell type is kind of like a wow.
Yeah,
that's a big statement to make when you don't study. Admittedly, don't study.
Yeah, and I said this last time. If she puts minimal effort into studying, she can take her game to the next level and fix her inconsistencies.
Like Jen Sturger said, if this is for you without studying, watch out when you do. And that's right.
Yeah, so like
because
if
she really does pull stuff out of thin air.
If I was Roxy in this situation, it's like, all right, are you studying? And because if she is, she takes that next step, and maybe she takes this momentum into their next match. Because like I think that's the whole point. If it's that big gamble, big reward, but then you don't hit that question, it rocks your entire game.
Yeah.
So I think if she does at the very minimum, maybe looks at cards maybe once, twice a week.
Yeah, something
like that. She can fix all of her inconsistency problems. So the potential is there. It's just, does she want to put in that work? Does she take this game seriously enough to take that next step?
Maybe she's not in it for a belt. Maybe she's just in it for the ride.
Maybe she's in it for the ride. Maybe
and
if
that's the case, then she's doing exactly what she should be doing.
But I just think if she is serious about this game and wants to take it seriously, like other competitors, put in the work, because this is a new era for a reason. There are people coming into this game that look at it like it's their life. This is my life right now. This is what I'm paying attention to. People like Kevin Smets and Kevin Smets in like almost to the core is that's what he's doing right now.
Exactly.
So like I think that if I want to take Stacey Howard seriously as a player, she needs to take this game just as serious. So that's my thoughts on that, and I'm frustrated for Zipper because I can't imagine what it's like playing against her, and when she's hitting these questions, like what?
Yeah.
What?
And the thing that would really get to me, and I can say this because I'll never compete in the Schmoedown, and so it doesn't matter if I show my cards. But the thing that would really piss me off is sitting there trying my best, and she's over here like, Anthony Hopkins, and then like she's right, and she's like, oh my god, she like freaks out like, oh my god, I can't believe I got it right. I would be seething on the other end of the table like, I studied night and day for this match.
Yeah.
And you just pulled that out of nowhere.
And to her credit, that there is something to be said that you know enough about the film industry and directors, and you know names, you know these people to connect dots, and like
because Roxy has a point.
She does have a
I could
point.
Never guess half of these answers that
and
she's guessing.
It is something to say about her game that like, all right, so this movie came out in this year. Who is popular during this year?
Yeah.
Who has, and she's like, who has a booming voice for this year? And it's like,
yeah, well, because that question was like, what Oscar-winning actor, blah blah blah, Beowulf, and she was like, well, you know, who's an Oscar-winning white man who has an epic voice? I think is pretty much what she said, and so she went with Anthony Hopkins.
And
the credit that I will give to Stacey Howard, that 100% I'll give to Stacey Howard, you know, guessing. It is what it is. The credit that I will give her is that one thing Roxy said in the post-match interview was about how, you know, people are underestimating Stacy, you know, whatever. She said that a lot of players out there in her position might have gotten nervous, might have frozen up, might have said, I don't know. I'm not sure that we've ever seen Stacey Howard say, I don't know. Like she always throws something out there. She will always throw an answer out there, even if it sounds silly, because sometimes it sticks. Yeah. And it does a lot for her, which is infuriating.
Yeah, and I think that's another credit to her educated guesses, is that they're not like just like, I don't know, this person.
Which is what I would do.
It's a guess that
educated.
makes sense. It's a guess that there it is. It's a guess that makes sense in the context of the question.
Yeah.
So that I'll give it to her, but on that same note, it's sort of a detriment to that. It's almost a lot of luck that goes into her gameplay
for sure,
and it's shown that her luck runs out, and when it runs out, it's ugly sometimes.
Luck usually runs out at some point. Yeah. No one's ever lucky all the time.
Those are my thoughts on Stacey Howard's play. Maybe there's something that I'm missing because people seem to be like, oh, don't underestimate her. She's an underrated player.
Underrated.
It's like, I don't see it, but maybe there's something I'm missing. So, I don't know.
Who knows?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? So the dungeon, real quick, Eric said that he knew his 5-pointer, and the thing that was just so frustrating was that she didn't know hers, but she somehow got it, and he did know his, and he somehow missed it because he just couldn't get it out of his head.
Yeah.
And that she gets answers to movies that she hasn't even heard of, and he said, quote, "It's dumb." And you know what, Eric? It is
that is probably the most apt description about, I wouldn't say her gameplay, right, but playing against her, and when she's on like this.
The
Not
fact
on,
that
but when her guesses are hitting so hard, so often,
the
it's
fact
dumb.
that 2 out of her 3 round 3 questions were apparently obvious guesses is infuriating.
Yeah.
I'm saying that as if I were the person against her.
Yeah.
Good for her. All the credit to her. But it's kind of like, God, how much time did I spend preparing for this match, and you haven't even seen that movie and you just guessed it, whatever.
Yeah. So
good job, Stacey Howard. You did it.
So those are our thoughts on that match.
And he said he wants to face her again, and I would like to see that.
I would like to see. Could you imagine it's a singles tournament and they both get past round 1, and the next turn, if Christian is smart for drama purposes, he'll set up to where they go up against somebody in round 1, and if they both win, they go against each other in round 2.
Zipper 2.
Yeah. So I can totally see that happening in the tournament. So
because Zipper, oh my gosh, if you would have asked me a year and a half ago, hey, who are you guys, Zipper? You guys, Stacy? I probably would bet against Zipper. Yeah. But he's a totally different player now.
I think a lot of it was just either nerves or because he was on the team with Winston, and Winston has been proven not to be at the best of competitors. So maybe he was the stronger half of that team, and Winston was just kind of holding him back at that point.
They were a team. Yeah, you're right.
So who knows that how much that goes into that. So I said it before, if you can give me either Stacy or Zipper at this point in time, I was like, I'm going Zipper because he'll learn from this loss and double down on his work.
I'll watch his career with great interest. Is that...
Yes. Okay. Speaking of Star Wars, so what we're going to get into all these announcements. So the first announcement that dropped was on Tuesday, is that Christian came on backstage, and he's announcing that they're moving forward with this IG tournament that they were gonna do originally. It's like, well, we need to do matches because there's only one more pre-recorded match, and we're out.
And Corona's still a thing.
So we're just gonna move forward with this digital IG tournament. It's a 16-man tournament, 16-man and woman tournament. Sorry, 16 player tournament. Sorry,
my God, women can be an IG too.
So 16-player tournament. I think it really boils down to every team, every faction, I should say, gets 2 competitors, and a lot of people are going to be doing play-ins.
Yeah.
So like lower tier competitors will have to play into the tournament, and then they go up, and it's just the way the tournament's stacked. You go against a higher ranked competitor.
Yeah.
And possibilities of upsets, blah 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 blah. So that's insanely interesting. I think the rosters are going to get announced next week.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
There's been a couple people confirmed here and there.
Sorry, not the rosters, the brackets.
Oh yes, the brackets.
But yeah, that's insane. And then and the second he did that, I was like, watch him now. Like, all right, watch him now announce like a Star Wars tournament.
Can corroborate. And he literally said
like,
that.
So like,
because he announced it on SEN, right?
He announced it on backstage. I'm like, no.
Okay.
I turned to you. I'm like, we need to start studying because I will not.
He literally did.
I turned right to you. I'm like, I'm not putting it past Christian to announce a Star Wars tournament anytime soon.
Yeah.
And like, at some point, he's gonna announce a Star Wars tournament. I'm gonna be and we're gonna be behind because I've been studying like here and there. I haven't stopped studying, but I haven't been like as entrenched
like
in
hardcore
studying. Like I
like,
did leading up to my match.
I have a match studying.
Yeah,
kind of
that kind of stuff. But like now, then I turned to you. I was like, "There's going to be a Star Wars, Star Wars." So we need to get back. We're getting into it right now, and not the same night. He announces in the Facebook group. It's like, "All right, we're going to do an 8-man Star Wars tournament on Twitch." I'm like, "What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
Yeah.
You need to hit it hard now." So that I'm excited for the IG tournament, but even more obviously we're excited for the Star Wars tournament because guess who's in it?
Guess what?
Because I believe it's an 8 competitor tournament because each faction will have a competitor in it.
Right.
And I think as of right now it's me, Sean, Adam Witt, Ken Knapsack, the newer Star Wars competitor, Cavedo, Laura Kelly, Scrimshaw, and I think Swag has yet to announce their.
You already said Knapsack.
Did I say Knapsack?
I don't know. Did you? I don't know. Play the tape back. I don't know.
Sorry. So okay, rewind it. So it's me, Laura Kelly, Joseph Scrimshaw, Ken Knapsack, Sean Sullivan, Adam Witt,
Josh Cavedo,
and whoever.
Are we forgetting somebody, or is there an unannounced person?
Unannounced person, because Swag or Usual Suspects has yet to enter a Star Wars.
Oh, maybe we're thinking Ace Cabrera.
But here's the thing. Molly Damon is out in the ether right now.
True.
She is a free agent. Usual Suspects has room on their roster.
Yeah, they only have like 6 players or something like that.
And
last time I looked.
And if they were smart, they would pick up Molly Damon and shove her and put her into that tournament. Because
if she wants to.
Because I was thinking that Rockstars wouldn't get a Star Wars competitor, but now they have, I believe they have the rookie, right?
God, there are so many trades.
There's so many trades.
But I think you're right.
So because before we're like, oh, Rockstars isn't in this tournament because they have the champion.
Yeah.
So they can't. But you can double up on your Star Wars competitors and put them. So I think the only person that's gonna be left out of this tournament is Swag. So. But that's the case, and this the Star Wars tournament is going to be insane. If you are not subscribed to the Schmoedown Twitch feed, and it's free. I don't know why everybody in the Facebook's like, I don't want to pay for this. Like, Twitch is free. You don't even have to have an account. Just go to the link.
That's what's really alarming to me is that a lot of people are in the thing like, what's Twitch? How do I get it?
Dude,
How do
Twitch has been around for a long time, and it's not new.
But, it seemed like almost kind of, up until recent past, seemed like a, like a gamer thing.
Yeah, and it's not only gamer things.
Definitely not only gamers.
There's plenty of, like, we have a buddy that runs on the treadmill and play. I mean, it is video game related, but most of it is just running on a treadmill for like 5
while playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
like you can do whatever you want.
There's some really cool stuff.
The world is your
on
oyster on Twitch.
And people don't do more than just video games, but like if you I don't know how this rookie's gonna do, and if the Schmoedown, especially the Star Wars division for the Schmoedown teaches you anything, don't underestimate a rookie. Laura Kelly is a prime example of that.
For sure.
So if you want to see a drag out tournament, Star Wars is the one because
be
I can almost guarantee there are going to be no knockouts in this tournament.
I think Star Wars is the division where you're never going to see a knockout.
Very easily, each of these matches can go to sudden death.
We've only seen one TKO in Star Wars, right?
Yes.
And that was kind of like that was a weird match.
It was a weird situation when Alex won his title.
It was a very awkward situation.
Very awkward. But
it probably wouldn't have happened under normal circumstances.
I can almost say that we probably won't ever see a knockout in Star Wars ever again because
I don't even think you'll see a TKO.
Competitors come in prepared now especially for the Star Wars division.
You don't get into the Star Wars division unless you're able to hang.
If you come in and you're like, I think I know Star Wars, like you're not gonna be able to hang at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I'm super stoked. We've already the second that I've said it again, the second that Christian announced the IG tournament, we went into study mode, like heavy study mode.
Yeah.
Back to watching the movies again and like just like a heavy studying. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. But like the IG tournament, I think I looked at this and when you look at the leaderboards, this could really save the dungeon.
Heck yeah.
This can take the dungeons like second to last place right now in front of Corruption. Something like that. So this could skyrocket them from like almost last place to the lead. Because if Parker does what everybody says, Kaiser says he's going to do,
knockout artist.
He can pick up 12 points.
Well, that's why I'm so excited to see what the brackets turn out to be and who are the play-in people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
it's gonna be great.
We've had our faction discussions about this, just bouncing ideas out of people who to put in and things like that. So, we have our people, and I know what the game plan is and things like that because I had this conversation with Tom last night and just game plan and where I'm at, where everybody else is at, and I think we're good. We're in a good spot right now, and I'm excited to see how we fare because really right now we're just trying to pull ahead and just stay in the lead.
Yeah.
But
I can't wait to see the brackets.
I'm so excited for these turns now because before it was just me sitting back and watching our faction, do work,
do stuff,
yeah. And I'm just like, yay,
yeah, good job, guys.
Now I'm in the conversation. Now I'm legit doing my part.
Yeah.
And I'm unbelievably excited for that.
It's just crazy how for so long we've been like, oh, when are we going to get a match? When are we going to get a match? And then it's like, hey, in 2 weeks you probably might have a match.
It was like, 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, I'm worried that I'm not even going to get a match this season. And I was like, look, now you have a chance to be in three matches. And if you get through this tournament, you get a shot at Alex Damon. It's like,
and it all starts in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, it's go time. Let's do this. So yeah, so those are the tournaments. What are your thoughts? Because I don't think we want to talk so much about the Star Wars tournament because obviously it's like, yeah, I'm going in there. We're not taking this lightly.
We don't really need to talk about that. We don't need to talk
because you know exactly what I'm going to say on that topic. And Harloff had an actual funny comment because I asked him about it through a stream. I was like, hey, did the success of the exhibition matches influence your decision to move forward with these digital tournaments? And he's like, yes and no, blah 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 blah. And he's like, geez, the Star Wars tournament. I wonder what Dimalanta's podcast is gonna be about this week.
Yeah,
like, yeah, I wonder. We're not gonna talk about that 100% of the time. I promise you.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know Andrew could, but we're not going to for that very reason.
Yeah, but and because like obviously people are gonna ask me like, oh, who are you worried about? Who are you looking to face? And it's like,
I'm not showing you my cards. Get out of here.
No, you know what? If somebody does ask me, my answer is gonna be the same. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because my goal and my focus has always been Alex.
Yeah.
And I feel if I prepare for Alex, it doesn't matter who else gets put in front of me. I said that on the Finstock Exchange podcast, which is now called Finstock Initiative. So I said that on that show. I was like, I don't care who I face. I just want to get to Alex.
Yeah.
So that's my answer. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the IG tournament. Again, I said that the dungeon can really, really make up some ground, and so can Corruption. Corruption has two.
They have both Chance and Mike Kalinowski. Big surprise. We thought Kalinowski was not going to be in it.
Yeah, well, he has nothing else to do.
I mean, wow.
Because the other division that he wanted to really focus on was teams, and you said it before that I don't know how we do teams over StreamYards. There's no possible way.
Yeah, that's my biggest
absolutely
concern.
No way.
And somebody brought it up on either Backstage or SCN, and I'm like, I've been saying that for weeks. But they were like, yeah, how do you confer with your teammate? And it's True. I mean, what do you have, a separate Discord, and then you run the risk of being like, my Discord was down, my internet, and then everybody else has the excuse of like, oh well, that win wasn't legitimate because A, B, and C. It just opens a big can of worms, which I'm sure Christian will deal with, and he will figure it out. I'm just glad it's not
with these digital tournaments. There's so many questions I have. Like, guaranteed they're not doing 5 rounders, because how do you deal with the speed round? We talked about this last week. The latency problem is a clear issue.
I mean, we've all seen Mike Kalinowski's internet.
Oh yeah,
on SCN or Backstage or whatever.
That's gonna be trouble for the IG.
Exactly.
That's gonna be real trouble.
More so for a speed round. I
don't think they're doing speed rounds for the tournament.
You said at one point that in the fan league, speed rounds.
It was point for point, so it was almost a carbon copy of the first round.
Except
if you miss a question, you lose a point.
Right.
Which is
it's
a fair way to do it, but it takes out the strategy and like the you know what I mean, because speed round's all about who gets it first,
and it's all about like, do I take the chance to buzz in,
exactly.
maybe miss it?
Yeah, maybe you get ahead so many points. It's like, all right, I'm done. I'm done guessing. I'm done buzzing in, because no matter how many your opponent gets, they're not going to catch you. So it takes out that element.
It has its own danger, because that means that you could miss every single one and lose a point for every single one. So it adds its own different element of danger.
I think the speed round is far more
strategic.
It adds more. It adds a different element because like the possibility of missing and not getting to the buzzer quicker than your opponent.
Yeah, because I know if it were me, I'm not a gambler. I don't like taking risks. I'm not a risk taker. So, I'd probably be kind of passive in a speed round.
And another thing I think we talked about with this tournament, these tournaments being digital, is how are we handling managers? Because
that is my question too.
Because like there is a possibility, because StreamYards you can have up to 6 people, so you have the 2 announcers, the 2 competitors, and maybe the two managers just waiting in the backstage.
Just not on screen,
and
but still there.
And if they want to chime in, they maybe wave their hands or something, and then they get brought in. It's like, all right, we want to do this, but then also it's like, if the managers are there, how you communicate with your competitor, because you want to communicate that without anybody else hearing. So there's just, I'm excited that we're getting these tournaments. I'm especially excited that we're getting the Star Wars tournament. And it's
bittersweet.
It's bittersweet because, hey, we don't have to travel to California for this. We get to save a ton of money.
Save a bunch of money.
Get to do it from the comfort of my own home. And,
is he wearing pants? I don't know.
I could be wearing just boxer briefs right now. You don't know, ladies.
Who knows, baby?
So yeah, we get all that, but I really wanted that experience with having Dagnito in my corner, having my faction mates off to the side, just like being there for me. And I haven't had that experience with competing with a manager.
I was looking forward to just sitting in the crowd with like the other members of the faction,
you know what
being
I'm saying?
like,
so it's like, I do get my matches, I do get to compete, I do get my a possibility of going against Alex. But we don't get that traditional experience of spinning the wheel, talking to Dagnito between rounds. It's like and he said that too. He's like, yeah, man, I'm bummed that I don't get to do that with you this time around. But
sucks.
It's
what are you gonna do? It's no one's fault except for everybody that's not washing their hands and wearing masks.
Corona, come here. I got something for you. Stop, please. But these IGs turn I'm guaranteed the people that I'm really looking forward to seeing is Parker.
Yeah.
Because
I can't wait to see if he can keep that momentum.
Yeah,
going.
that momentum it's hard to keep up, especially in the stacked division, how stacked IG is. Especially now that Kalinowski is like, yep, I'm coming back in.
Yeah.
And Chance Ellis is pretty decent at it. I remember him coming second in his Fatal 5-Way that he went in, I think. Or whatever match he was. He did pretty well in his match.
I'm just interested to see how Mike bounces back after his last match. Mm-hmm. What was it, Spectacular?
Yeah, it was Spectacular, his last IG match.
I'd like to see how he bounces back after that.
Yeah.
Because, that wasn't the Mike Kalinowski we're used to seeing.
Yeah, no.
I'm interested to see what the Barbarian can do. Because he is no one to sneeze at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I think among the people that I am most interested to watch is Parker.
Yeah. There's a whole list of people. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm really excited. And it's 16 competitors.
Yeah, that's huge.
Huge.
Is there going to be a loser's bracket kind of thing where you can still gain points? Oh, okay.
No, so there's the play-in and then there's the actual round tournaments. So really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to the Star Wars tournament. I'm really I'm ready to get back into it. I've been ready. I've been wanting my match And I just wanted news about my match. Like, hey, do you have any idea when my next match is? And now I don't have to worry about that. Now it's just crunch time now. So yeah. But also the other news that has been dropped was like there's a whole bunch of trades that went on. Friday was at like 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time was the last chance that managers were able to drop players. And if you didn't drop that player, you're stuck for the rest of the season, barring trades.
Yeah.
So, but before even all that happened, we had a massive trade going.
Yeah, a lot of trades.
So the first trade was it was between Burnett and the Den.
I mean,
it was.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at Christian's Twitter.
It was Hannah for James White. Oh. That was the first big trade.
Where is it? Yeah. So the Den trades Brandon Hannah to the Burning Droogs for James White.
Yeah.
Interesting trade.
Yeah. So
we have not seen James White perform. He's been all hype.
And he's a single regular division player. So teams and singles, from what I understand. I think this trade came down to Ben being very impressive in his first 2 matches, and now he's making his IG debut, and they're banking on Saul to be, at the very least, get him 3 points for the play-in.
Oh yeah, I wonder if Saul's an IG player.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see him.
Because I think they looked at Hannah like, look, you lost twice to the same guy.
He had a rough go.
He had a rough go at it, and maybe this like, look, we have to we want to catch the leader, and we need. I think the best bet is to do it in singles.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what it was at, and this lit a fire under Hannah. He's like, I'm out for blood now, and just to see what happens if he runs into Ben down the line, or he runs into Saul down the line.
It's just
that's gonna be interesting
because wasn't James White like
he was his second round pick?
Like, second.
He's a second round pick. So that's huge.
That's big.
And now, Hannah gets to be back with his old manager.
And then we hear, I don't know if I'm going to miss anything. I hope not.
Because I think the next trade was...
Like I said, I'm looking at Christian's Twitter, so, I'm sure he didn't miss anything.
He posted it on the Schmoedown Instagram.
I don't go on Instagram. So I see a trade alert.
I think it was...
The Usual Suspects trade Ken Knapsack, Jader Paramo, and their first round pick next year for Ethan Irwin.
Drew. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm reading it.
That's right. Yeah, so now Ken Knapsack and Jader are on the Droogs.
Yeah.
And Ethan Irwin is part of Usual Suspects, which huge. You can
Ethan Irwin, Andrew Guy.
Yeah, you can almost guarantee that it'll be Guy Irwin.
Yeah.
Or Irwin
Time Machine.
Or you reunite Time Machine because they have chemistry.
Yeah.
So the possibilities are endless for this team now because the Usual Suspects aren't looking great. This trade really skyrockets them, and they can make points in teams and singles now.
Yeah.
So.
And the Droogs didn't so much have a Star Wars player before. Right?
I don't know. They had the rookie.
Oh, and then, spoiler alert, he got traded too.
Yeah, so now that they get an established former champion Star Wars competitor. And obviously Jader did pretty well in his debut, but I think that was the only trade that happened after that, or was there one more trade?
I mean, you're right. I think Quevedo got traded, but I don't see it.
Yeah, but he's on the Rockstars now. I can't remember what they got for him.
Yeah, me neither. It's somewhere. It's probably buried somewhere. We should have really done our research.
Yeah, I was banking on it being on Instagram and Twitter. But
I was banking on it being on Twitter.
Yeah, but
I'm missing something.
So those are the big announcements before all the drops started happening. So
so the Usual Suspects. Speaking of drops, the Usual Suspects released Jenna Bush.
Yeah. And these are pretty much all players that haven't competed this season.
Exactly.
And it's like you're wondering when they're going to get their matches. It's like I'm not going to take up space on my roster for somebody that's probably not even going to get a match this season. So we're going to drop you and make room for it. Yeah, or scheduling conflicts. Like I really can't compete now, so go ahead and drop me.
So Jenna Bush got traded from the Usual Suspects.
This next one hurts.
The next one is that the Finstock Exchange released BC.
This one hurt.
That hurts really because BC is just a baller.
He's a baller, and
he's awesome.
And we had, and I'm not gonna behind closed doors what was said or anything, and what the idea was behind this, but it was just it sucks. It's like he was so eager to get into the ring and compete. And he's like,
I'm still really excited to see him debut.
Oh yeah, he was like, he was really excited. He's like, I want to go into IG, I want to go into singles, team me up with something. He was so ready to go. It's just the cards didn't fall that way, and we needed to. Somebody had to get dropped because looking at the free agents out there is like we can pick somebody else up, but
And everyone in the comments on that is like, no.
Yeah, I know. And the thing that and I know this means nothing to the team, but like now our song makes no sense. Greedy for Bucks makes no sense now. And it's only one line.
We gotta re-record
so
it.
maybe we'll
well,
redub
I mean, who knows? If we drop somebody, are we picking up somebody?
Yes.
So do we have to re-record our song?
I think it's already been announced that we are picking somebody up. I just don't know who.
So hopefully they also have 2 syllables that rhymes with BC,
and we can just re-record it.
Re-record the song.
I don't want to, because that's just.
I don't want to because BC. Well, I don't know
because BC's Finstocks for life, man. Like maybe he doesn't get picked by a team, and we just keep him on like as our bodyguard or something.
BC is still just a cool.
Yeah.
Dude.
So, but the next one was by the Dungeon.
They released Villalobos.
Yeah.
Daniel Villalobos has been released by the Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Kroll.
Yeah, from the
has
Droogs.
been released by the Droogs.
And then Swag.
Releases 2 people, Ed Greer and Demi. Not going to even bother with the last name.
I think the second guy, I think he had scheduling conflicts.
They both say that they're scheduling conflicts.
Oh yeah, because the first Ed is a stand-up comedian, and I don't think he can commit the time, and I think the other guy is an actual working actor.
Both are not able to compete this season due to scheduling.
Yeah, so I think it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, well you're just taking up space on my roster. I'm gonna have to release you because then a lot of these people out here, it's like, yeah, it's understandable, doing the best for what, and the people that didn't release anybody, Rockstars, Quirky Works, Corruption.
No. Rockstars released JTE.
They traded him.
They traded
because
him.
Yes, that's where the trade is. The trade happened for
Quevedo
for JTE from Droogs to.
There had to have been something else besides Quevedo.
No, it's right here.
It was a 1-for-1.
It was a 1-for-1. JTE for Quevedo. That's what happened. So yeah, they didn't release him. They traded him.
That's an interesting trade.
They traded him for JTE.
Trade an unknown Star Wars only competitor for JTE.
I think.
I mean, it's been a while since we've seen JTE.
I think what happened is Roxy noticed that Swag has no Star Wars competitor, so we're gonna take up that last spot in the tournament, and you're just out of luck.
That was a 1-for-1.
That was a 1-for-1.
Wow.
Yep. And I think this is like looking at the now circumstances. Like, all right, I don't know who, because I don't think Rockstars have a straight up like competitor for IG. I think they're struggling to fill those spots. So it's like, all right, we need somebody for the other tournament that can get some points.
Yeah.
And we can't put Alex in the Star Wars tournament because champ.
I'm wondering, is there any possibility that you might just really try to, why have Alex Damon go into
IG.
Inner Geekdom if he's not going to compete in the tournament? But is that spreading him too thin? Who knows?
Well, who's to say that he works all of his studying for this tournament, and then by the time the title shot comes around, he's all done with this tournament.
Exactly. So I'm wondering, will Rockstars put in Alex Damon for the IG tournament?
I don't know.
It would be almost foolish not
because
to.
I think if anything, you put Damon and Habon in that tournament.
Is Habon a Rockstar?
He's a Rockstar.
Yeah, you're right. He is.
So that's the play, I think, and I think they looked at that because Habon, I've said it before, not the greatest competitor in IG. Alex had a decent showing in his debut, but I don't think he can hang with the likes of Kalinowski, Parker, and stuff like that.
He has had some months to prepare,
yeah,
and we know what his brain is capable of retaining.
But is that enough to get you to the level of Kalinowski and Parker?
Time will tell.
We'll see.
But
I think
it would be foolish not to put him in the IG tournament because
why
draft him saying he's going into IG? Oh man, he's making this big crossover. Mm-hmm. Man, now I got a heavy hitter too. Yeah. He's venturing into 2 leagues, but then I'm not going to put him in the tournament. Unless
it was just for the live event, and then why would you waste your?
No, I don't. That would be foolish.
And you're wasting. You have a champion on your roster, but at the same time, it's like, well, he's just sitting there waiting for his title defense. So it makes sense to put him in the IG tournament, get any points you can, because I don't think he's winning the tournament. I don't think Habon's winning the tournament.
Especially if you don't have any other IG competitors.
Exactly. So, and you're just basically, you're not even trying to get points.
Yeah.
And you're not at the top of the leaderboard. So you need to put your best foot forward for these. And I think it's like, all right, so I have my IG competitors try to get points there. I need to make points elsewhere. I had no chance at the Star Wars tournament, so let me trade away a player for a Star Wars competitor, and I can get points in the Star Wars division. So I think that's what it boiled down to, and also like how many matches are you gonna get at JTE? Because who knows, by the time this IG and Star Wars tournament is done, we're back into studio play, and now you still have JTE on your roster. It's like, oh, he doesn't live here, so we can't get any matches out of him.
He doesn't live there?
No, he doesn't live in LA. So unless we get a singles tournament this year, be digital.
Wouldn't it be great to see?
Harloff said that he's thinking of making the free for all digital. That would be fun.
I think free for all lends itself to digital. I mean, it's not ideal. But in the current situation, it could definitely work.
Yeah. So
I'd like to see a JTE Jeff Snyder match. Ooh,
that would be fun.
Speaking of,
oh, that's right. We totally glossed over this, didn't we?
Would you like to touch on it or no?
So,
and if Andrew gets too heated, the magic of editing can save us.
I think I have a cool head. Like, so I think these comments, because before it was like Facebook posts, you can just rattle cages, but the fact that he gets on camera.
Let's back it up for a minute.
Back it up, yeah.
Anybody that's not sure what we're talking about, although I'm not sure how you couldn't be. Jeff Snyder, TLDR in a nutshell, he said that the Inner Geekdom division is
a joke division.
A joke. Did he actually say joke?
He said joke division.
A joke division, and it's full of inferior players.
So this is an outlandish and disrespectful comment.
I agree.
Because I don't. Could I jump into singles and compete? Absolutely not.
Oops, sorry. Heck no.
We'll bleep it out. We're trying not to swear so much. Yes. So could Snyder come into Star Wars division and compete against me? No. Could he jump into IG and compete? Maybe. But he admitted that he doesn't want to watch those horrible films. And it's like,
that's the thing that kills me.
And it's disrespectful. It's like, is the IG in Star Wars different from the singles? Absolutely. It's not. That doesn't mean we're inferior competitors. We're different types of competitors.
Yeah.
Because I've said it before, and when we talked about this before, Ben Bateman is the clear example of this. You don't have to watch movies to compete in the singles division. Bateman has made his career off of studying off of IMDb. He has a title to prove it. You can't do that in the IG, and you definitely can't do that in Star Wars.
No.
You have to watch these movies.
Not to take any credit away from singles.
Yeah,
it's just a different league.
Yeah, it's a different division. It's a different type. You have to be a different type of competitor to compete in these divisions.
And it's almost because of one of the things that
It's
almost because of one of the things.
She's Italian. She talks with her hands.
It's almost because of one of the things that Jeff is complaining about. So one of the things he complained about. How are we doing on time here? I don't want to.
We're doing good.
I don't want to drag this on.
This will be the last topic that we talk about.
So one of the things he complained about is that it's the the movie, the amount of movies is very limited in comparison to the teams and singles.
Yeah. More so for Star Wars, obviously.
Where was I going with this? So
I think he said it's like if I just want to compete in these divisions, just
all I got to do is watch this list of movies.
Yeah,
and it's like, first of all, I don't think there was ever a definitive list of movies ever released.
Yeah, for IG, because there's.
Granted, if you look at Star Wars, if you look at Star Trek, Marvel, DC.
Yeah, you can say that about the Star Wars division. But you can't say that about IG because there's these off-ball movies that you forget about.
Weirdo comic book movies that I've never heard of. What's Howard the Duck?
Yeah, exactly. There's those weird movies like, wait, what? That's an IG movie?
Exactly.
So there's never been a definitive list. It's like, hey guys, study these movies. So it's like I can take that argument for Star Wars, but the second part of our argument about how IG and Star Wars are different beasts is that the questions are so unbelievably detailed for some of these that you can't just skate by looking up the IMDb page.
That's where I think I was going.
Yeah.
So his one of his arguments is that it's so much more constricted the pool of questions that you have compared to singles or teams. But it's I don't want to take anything away from singles or teams.
No, we're not.
It's easier. It's
just different.
It's just it's a different.
You have to be a different.
It's a different type of studying, I think, and I think anybody would agree with that. That's in one of or both leagues. Mm-hmm. I feel like Kevin Smets would probably attest to that. Mike Kalinowski, especially, and Rachel Cushing.
Rachel, yeah, because she said that when she bounces back from different divisions, especially from IG to singles and teams, she has to switch her brain. She said she literally has to switch her mindset.
Exactly, because there's a smaller amount of movies. You have to study differently. You have to study
You prepare differently.
Deeper and really, really detailed.
Yeah.
It makes me think of, Andrew, because he used to tell me, back in like his prime, his younger days.
Yeah.
He used to do cross country and taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
And, cross country is a long-winded sport.
Yeah.
You're running for like
training.
8 billion miles at a time.
I don't know how
Then you got taekwondo. You're sparring for, what was WTF? A minute at a time for a sparring match? A minute and a half per round.
Yeah.
So it's like bursts.
It's bursts.
So he would always tell me that, well, the better I would get at cross country, the more my taekwondo would suffer, and vice versa. The better I get at my taekwondo, my cross country would kind of suffer.
And people would ask me, it's like, isn't it the same kind of endurance? It's like, absolutely
It's a different kind of endurance.
It's like you have that slow burn with cross country. You're worried about pace and rhythm and stuff like that. You're worried about the same thing in taekwondo, but it's quick bursts.
Exactly.
And conserving your energy in between rounds.
Different type of training.
Different type of training. And this is a very great example about how you would train for a singles match and how you would train for a Star Wars match.
Exactly.
It's different. You have to be a different competitor. And the one thing that really got to me was like Ben said, like, hey, if it's so easy, why don't you jump in and compete? Bateman said, like, if it's so easy, quote unquote, why don't you do it? Why don't you compete? It's like, well, I don't want to watch garbage movies. And it's like, are you kidding me? Because here, after all this has gone down, he's like, I don't want to spend my time watching movies. I don't want to spend my time watching bad movies. I want to watch the movies that I want. Bad movies. I want to watch good movies and study those movies. So essentially, I told you this. Essentially, what he's doing is giving you the blueprint on how to beat Jeff Snyder. Look at what his weaknesses are. Look at the movies that he doesn't like, and put one of those categories on the wheel and get an IG category, or just put 2 IG categories on there.
So basically, if you play Jeff Snyder, put
IG on there,
2 IG categories on the wheel,
and then try to get under his skin, because he's been legendary for crumbling in the second and third round.
If you're able to get under his skin in the right way. Mm-hmm. And you just capitalize on that opportunity, he just seems to unravel.
He's done it less under Roxy's tutelage and her management.
Yeah.
He's done it less. I'll give Roxy that, and I'll give him that much. But you see him defeat himself time and time. Not time. Well,
like wasn't it against Oyama that he just crumbled?
He looked defeated, but he literally gave up against Bibbs. He gave up mid-match. He's like, I don't know this, and he's like, it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you do? You're one of the best teams players of ever. And because of these comments, now he's not studying the movies he doesn't like. Now that he doesn't want to watch IG categories. He doesn't want to study those now. Now that he's made these comments, I don't see him getting the singles title because of that. Because there's just too many good players now that are willing to watch bad movies and study bad movies, and they'll have that edge over him now.
Yeah, and they're going to use strategy against him.
Exactly.
And use his own words against him.
Mm-hmm. And
maybe he'll prove us wrong. Maybe he'll become a contender for the singles belt. Who knows? Time will tell.
And there's just there's obviously so many more movies out there that he can know and study, and he can make up ground that way.
Yeah, because you could play an entire singles match and not touch a single IG.
Exactly.
movie.
So like it just sometimes it just comes to the categories that you spin. But
luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw. But I think now he just yelled out his weaknesses for the entire league to see. And if I'm Roxy, I'm like, dude, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Stop this.
Because everybody knows that now they're going to put 2 IG categories in the
one,
wheel.
you're putting you're airing out all your weaknesses. 2, it's bad it's just bad press for the Rockstars. You have this toxic player on your team, and Roxy's going to defend him to the end of the earth.
Oh, sure.
And he even went as far to throw Andraco under the bus. So it's like, do you really want this guy on your team?
Yeah. Well, somebody actually did, I feel like on Twitter or Facebook, somebody was like, "Well, you throwing your own teammate on the bus," and if I was better prepared for this recording, I probably would have like screenshotted it or something. Yeah. But somebody did mention that, like, "Wow, you're throwing your own teammate on the bus," and he was like, I think he said something to the effect of like, I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm just keeping it real. And Draco probably agree with me. Blah blah blah.
I mean.
And then other people are of course saying, well, it's funny. It's interesting to watch this all play out, because there's a group of people that are like, wow, Jeff Snyder, what a jerk.
Yeah.
Then there's like another subset of people that are like, wow, fantastic heel. Because they're like, I mean,
Yeah, and
look at him. He's somebody actually made a comment like, "Wow, I mean, well, look what he did. What a fantastic heel. Everybody's crying about what he said. Mm-hmm. So what a fantastic heel he is." And then some people are like, "Well, he's blurring the line. Is this just Jeff Sneider, who he is as a person, or is this character work? Who knows?" I think it might be a little around.
I think it's more him just being Jeff because it's backstage. It's not like going on the rundown and playing up your character. This is the point of backstage is to bring you backstage and give you the real look at these competitors.
And yeah, he kind of almost got himself thrown off from throwing around so many F words and bad language words.
Yeah, and the frustrating part about this is like Harloff came on the next day. He's like, "Yep, that's just Jeff." I'm like, "Really?" So Jeff Sneider gets a pass. He just gets a pass. Like, I want to know if any other competitor did this. If any other competitor did this.
He doesn't get a pass because I feel like I heard somebody, whether it was Christian or somebody else, like, you gotta not do that. Yeah. So it's not like Jeff gets a pass, like, hey, Jeff Sneider, it's whatever. He didn't get, I mean, I'm pretty sure he still got a finger wagged at him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just kind of like, I think it's just more of not surprising, but it's not that he gets away with it.
No, I think the what I'm getting at is like, if any other competitor came out openly insulted an entire division, would Christian be like, oh, well, it's that person, or would he go to them and be like, look, man, that's not cool?
Like if I don't know why this name is coming to my brain first, but like if a William Bibiani came onto backstage, like, wow, Intergeek, I almost said it again, Instagram. I almost said Instagram again, almost.
Yeah.
But I feel like if a William Bibiani type came on backstage like, wow, Intergeekdom, full of inferior players. Yeah. Wow, what a joke division. Yeah. I feel like it would be so much of a different dynamic coming from somebody else that isn't Jeff Sneider. Yeah.
And I don't know. But like one thing that, because like there's the people that are like, oh man, fantastic heel. But like I'm looking at it from a competitor in a division that he is bashing. And it's like, dude, that's it, and it's insulting because you don't know the amount of work that goes into studying for these matches.
And the other interesting thing is that he said, if not verbatim, that it's got inferior players in it. Then in almost the same breath, he says, well, I'm not saying it's easy. Like, what?
So what are you saying?
What are you saying?
I don't know. But I do think it's funny.
You're just saying that it's full of movies that you don't like personally.
Yeah. So like just say that it's like I don't like geeky movies. I don't ever plan on playing in Geekdom because I just don't feel like I whatever. Just
because I think that was one of the things he said, that it's full of inferior players because, oh wow, wouldn't it be nice to just have an entire league of movies you love? Let's pump our brakes. Pretty sure that there are tons of terrible IG movies that these IG competitors will still power through because they know they should.
Do I want to watch the Clone Wars movie?
No.
Probably not, but I have to.
Absolutely not.
But I'm gonna have to watch it to get to my title shot. So
it's just kind of funny to be like, wow, all these movies are all your favorite movies. What a closed-minded statement.
It's closed-minded. It's insulting to players like Kalinowski, Rachel Cushing, Kevin Smith.
Funny
I was just supposed to say it because Cushing actually commented. I can't remember what she said. What she said, something about getting paid or something.
It must be nice to get paid to see all these movies and then take a dumb ball over all the movies you don't like or something to that effect. I don't remember exactly what she said.
I love the second Rachel chimed in. He
had nothing to say.
Absolutely nothing to say because you have one of if not the best person to compete in this division saying, "Hey, shut up." So
it kind of felt good to see.
It did. It felt really good.
It wasn't like an automatic fire back on Rachel Cushing. It's like, well, at least there's still some respect in the league.
Yeah. So I think we're just gonna close out this episode there because I don't want to.
It doesn't feel good because I feel like I could go on more, but I don't really think it would be a good look to do that.
I don't think. But we had a ton of stuff go down this week. Ton of stuff to talk about, and we will give our thoughts on the Jurassic Park exhibition. We just have to watch it because there's just so much that happened that we have to cover, and so much stuff that we're doing behind the scenes, for other things, obviously. But we're just gonna end the episode here. Nicki Dimalanta, where can they find you online? Try to stretch it out like you always do.
Well, There's a little site that is called twitter.com, and I go by the name of Dimmy, DIMMMYYY.
As for me,
catch me there saying stuff.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm sorry I haven't been live on Twitch as of recently for obvious reasons. You can find me there at Drew Dimalanta, DIMALANTA. If you haven't already, like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go to wherever you find our podcast feed Beyond the Schmoedown. Go ahead and rate us. It helps us out tremendously. And also, if you do feel so generous to join the Patreon, patreon.com/Andrew and Nicki to become a member of the squadron. Like I mentioned last time, I'm doing video journals for my short film that I want to get kicked off. I probably won't be doing that as much or at all. No, I will be doing it. I just won't be hitting it as hard as I want to now that the tournament's going down. But yeah, go patreon.com/Andrew and Nicki to become a member of the squadron. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end this episode today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you
next time.